I describe Jairo Rivera as being a servant. I'm a servant at heart, and that's what I believe God has called me to do, and that's what I believe I am this day. I am, and what I believe I'm going to be always. I arrived to this country in 1973. I was 7 years old from Colombia, and I arrived in Queens, New York, and in a dangerous time in New York. But when you're little, you don't know nothing, and I was so happy to come. So, that's how I arrived to this country. Was when I was 7. My mother had married my stepdad, and I came here and started a new life. My adaptation to this country was a little bit violent at first. When I was 7 years old, didn't speak any any English, excuse me. And so at that time, I had to fight just about every day. Even though they became my friends after I fought them, it was kind of tough at first. But I adopted watching TV, learning from TV, and always playing. And at that time, they didn't have a bilingual program. So I basically, right from kindergarten, where I came from in Colombia, right to first grade, and I was able to learn English within 1 year, at least communicate with others. And that's how it was, just right into culture. And so that was my introduction to this culture. I love America. I love the way things are, the food. It was just something, because I came from poor background, so coming to America was having everything available. So it was a change, but a beautiful change. I wanted to be a police since I can remember as a child, playing with little toy soldiers and playing with little toy policemen. I always wanted to be a police officer and a soldier. And thank God I was able to do both. I did 13 years in the Army, and I'm currently 18 years as a police officer. And I loved every minute of it. I lived my dream. And since I can't remember. I don't know what my earliest memories since wanting to be a police and being a soldier. And I've completed both of them. So since I can remember, Vita, I always wanted to do this, and I thank God I'm living my dream. When I was 26, yes, in New York City, I filled an application, and I passed. I went through the interview. They had a detective investigate me. Everything was cleared. I was ready to start the academy. At 27, I got married, and my wife and her family were totally against the police. And they were pushing me, don't be a police officer, don't be a police officer. They're all racist. That's what she kept telling me. And they're telling me. And I just got married with her. So because for the sake of the marriage, I turned down the job of my dream. Well, 5 years later, I divorced her. I come to Louisiana, and I got an opportunity to start my job. Was through a friend. I was working at the prison, and a friend told me, "Hey, have you applied with the sheriff's department?" I'm like, "No," but I said, I tried it, and thank God, it was a miracle. It was 16 steps I had to do within 1 month, without missing any work. I was able to do it, and here I am. It really was like a miracle, and I'm just happy. I think that's what God created me to do this, and this is what I'm doing. Many, many, many beautiful years, moments, minutes, relationships. I've developed some great friends for life. I've met some great people. Yourself, your son. Many great people I've met in this career, in this life, and that I'm fortunate to have. I'm fortunate to have met. And those times, those people, I weigh a lot of the difficult times that this job brings. This job is so much pressure. Just wearing the uniform, Vita, as soon as you put that uniform, it's like you have a bullseye. Like everybody's looking at you, and the bad guy's looking at you, the good guy's looking at you. Oh, I wonder if so everybody's like pulling at you, or you're a focal point. Having that attention, good and bad, it's a lot of pressure. So all that being said, the great moments outweigh any of the bad moments that I've had. The hardest part in this job, the hardest part is the stress. Most police officers, after they retire, they die quickly. They don't die. They don't live too long. That's a real stat. They don't, and the reason is because after so many years of that intense stress, you live under the stress constant, that it becomes your normal way of life. Like you kind of live on that stress, constantly watching yourself, constantly. When you go to a restaurant, you're looking around. And then you do it automatically. You don't even try to do it. You're just looking at people. You're always on the job, 24/7. You're on the job. The only time you have rest, hopefully, is at home, and that your oasis. So many officers, if they don't have that oasis or like running, some exercise, something that get rid of the stress, it builds up, and when they finally retire, it becomes hard to adjust to regular life, like relaxing. And many, unfortunately, can't adapt, and they have heart attacks or they get ill and they die. That has been a fact. Most police officers don't live too long after their careers. That's the most difficult part of the job, is trying to keep a balance of home and away from job. That's, I think, the most difficult part of this job. I think my faith, I'm not afraid of my job at all, Rita. And I think my faith in God is the main reason. I'm a high, how would I say, or like they call it high speed or active person, or high work ethic. I am busy. I'm constantly doing traffic stops. I'm constantly busy. I'm constantly working. I'm a high energy person when it comes to my job, and I love it. And people sometimes say, man, aren't you afraid, somebody's going to shoot you, or you're going to get, I said, I pray every day. And I pray even also when I'm coming into work, when I'm driving into work, and I say, God, put me today, bring the people that you want me to talk to today, bring the people that you want me to meet today, everything today. You set the day, you set the course of the day. But also, I realize also that my day and hour, because I'm a big believer in the scriptures, my day and hour was chosen before I was born. God already knew what day I was going to live, today, my last day of life. He knew how I was going to die. He knew all those things. So why I'm going to worry about when that day come? I always say, Lord, let me face that day. If it's like through a shooting or something that I have to do, let me have courage. That's all I ever ask. Lord, let me be courageous in that moment, because you never know. No one ever knows when you have a gun facing your face how you're going to react. I always say, Lord, when that day comes, let me face it with courage and do the right thing and act correctly and act with valor, with dignity, with honor. That's what I always ask. I said, that's the one thing. If I'm going to die when I'm 70 or 80 years old, when I'm retired, so be it. The day and the hour, God only knows. So I don't worry about my job. I don't worry who I stop or what I'm going to. God is already in control of that. So I don't worry about it. That's why I'm not scared at all of my job. Rita, my future is ministry, service, public service. I've been a public servant even before I became a police officer, even before when I was a child. I always been a help. I love helping my friends. I always helping people, my neighbors cut their grass. That's how I was as a child. I just like helping people. And I became a minister before I was a police officer. With children, I was a youth pastor and a children's pastor and an assistant pastor, serving in ministry in church, serving. Then I became a police officer, and I'm serving people. When I leave here, I'm going to serve. I think that's what I am. That I don't really look for titles or for accolades or for awards or for record. None of those things mean anything to me. The greatest thing to me is how God looks at me. If God looks at me and says, "Well done," I'm happy. The message I want to give to people watching this video is that I'm here to help you. I'm here to help you. I'm a servant. That's my career. I'm a public servant. But I was a servant before. I'm serving now, and I'm going to be a servant when I leave here. Most people have my numbers, and if you don't have my number, ask somebody, because somebody has my number. If I don't answer, it's because maybe I was very busy or I was asleep and I didn't hear it. But I'll call you back and I'll answer you, and I would help you the best I can. Whatever I need, I'm here to help you. And my message is I'm a servant, and so I'm here to serve you at all times.